Edinburgh is home to many amazing wonders. From Dean Village to Edinburgh Castle to the Royal Botanic Gardens, you can never go wrong when it comes to having a fun day out in the Scottish capital.
It's especially fun if you're a transport nerd. Places like Tollcross, Leith Walk and Princes Street all have buses passing extremely frequently, and Edinburgh trams, which opened in 2014, run every 7 minutes between Edinburgh Airport and Newhaven.
However, 4 miles west of the city centre and 2 miles east of its outskirts lies Edinburgh Park Station, which is where the bus service we will be discussing begins today's route.
So, to find out more, I went out to the station to delve into what makes this bus service, which seems like your normal, standard express bus, so unique and innovative. Welcome to Edinburgh Park Station. As you can see, it's a fairly major transport interchange with 7 train services, 1 tram service, and 5 bus services, one of which will be the subject of this video. As I cross this bridge over the train tracks, we prepare to go on one of the most revolutionary bus services in the UK. Running every 30 minutes, the bus service goes between here and Ferrytoll Park and Ride, barely a mile over the Forth Road bridges. What makes this bus route so interesting is that 90% of the route is able to run without a driver necessary. Autonomously, if you will.
One of Edinburgh's busiest stations, Edinburgh Park, had 290,000 passengers boarding and exiting trains in 2021-2022 season.
So after this next segment, we shall see what it's like on these buses.
Service AB1 was launched as Project CAV4, CAV standing for Connected Autonomous Vehicles, in 2019 in partnership with Fusion Processing, Stagecoach Bus, Alexander Dennis, Transport Scotland, Edinburgh Napier University and Bristol Robotics Lab. 5 Enviro 200 AVs were sold to Stagecoach with fleet numbers 62001 to 62005, originally being trialled around Stagecoach Manchester's Sharston depot before being sent up to Stagecoach East Scotland's Dunfermline depot. Later on, 62005 was sent over to Dubai for promotional activities, with the remaining 4 buses staying at Stagecoach. The buses use Fusion Processing's CAV-Star automatic driving system, which uses an AI controller and sensing system to operate the route autonomously within its operational design domain, which allows the buses to drive themselves. Currently, the project is in phase 1, which is making sure that the buses are actually able to operate. The problem is that the computers are unable to navigate around roundabouts, and so far, only a bit of the route that is autonomous is that section on the motorways, which is the M90, M9 and M8. Phase 2 will be making it so that these autonomous buses can navigate round roundabouts like these, making the route 100% autonomous. Future plans include extending the route up north by another 6 miles to Dunfermline town centre and replacing the diesel-operated Enviro 200 AVs with more eco-friendly battery-operated Enviro 100 AEVs. AEV stands for Autonomous Electric Vehicle, for any of you wondering. The AB1 operates every 30 minutes every day between 7 AM and 7 PM, and some journeys reaching every 20 minutes in the weekday peak times. The buses used, those being Enviro 200 AVs, are pretty much just autonomous Enviro 200 MMCs with other minor tweaks here and there, notably the lack of fold-up seats in the wheelchair and buggy bays, among other things. The buses have 37 seats, all of which have seatbelts on them with which you are required to use. The AB1 has been operating since May of 2023. The service was meant to start as early as mid-20, but irritatingly, the COVID-19 pandemic pushed things back a few years, since they still had to test the buses, which couldn't be done if people weren't able to leave the house. The bus is also capped out at 50 miles per hour when driving in autonomous mode. As you can see, the buses use this purple paint that, based on your angle and distance, looks somewhat teal. Buses are on autonomous driving level 4, which means that while it is pretty much able to operate autonomously, they still have to have a captain on board. That reminds me, weirdly, despite the service being able to operate without a driver, it still has 2 members of staff on board, which does seem a bit backwards. There is the safety driver of the bus, who essentially sits in the driver's cabin so that if somebody pulls in front of the bus rapidly, they can easily take control as not to cause a crash. There's also the captain, who goes around giving passengers their tickets and providing information for those who are curious. Stagecoach have hired 20 people who are able to do this job, and every few journeys, the captain and safety drivers swap roles as to cut down on time spent on driver changes. But now, I shall showcase what it's like aboard these buses. So, these buses, the Enviro 200 AVs, are built on your standard
Enviro 200 MMC chassis and body. However, they've had to cram tons of cameras, lidars, all that sort of stuff into this bus, which I was talking to the captain of the bus just a minute ago, and he said that it was probably trickier than just making a whole new autonomous bus from scratch. An analogy he used was that it's like making a cake. You need to get the ingredients that make the cake. However, he said that just turning an Enviro 200 MMC into an Enviro 200 AV is like trying to bake a cake from a scone that's already been baked, which I think is a somewhat fair analogy, but it does seem just generally quite pesky to get it developed. I'm glad it's gone quite well, because it's really fun experience. We're just turning from the M9 onto the M19 now, so that should be exciting. From the back to these seats, you've got a USB port, which I can plug the phone I'm filming on into right now. It's quite pesky to show on camera. There's a wireless charger here you can mount your phone in, watch videos on, and then there's a stop button on the back of the seats. So this is just a nice setup here. What I've noticed is that this bus is extremely loud. I'm not sure you're gonna be able to hear me. I'm like right up against the phone, but yeah. Very snowy though, so that's fun. Here we are at Ferrytoll Park and Ride. Right-ho then. Thank you very much, guys. See you later. Bye. Welcome to Ferrytoll Park and Ride, one of Dunfermline's 2 park and ride facilities alongside Hallbeath Park and Ride. It sees approximately 32 departures per hour, Monday to Saturday daytime, which is approximately 5 more than Hallbeath Park and Ride's approximately 27, despite it being a bigger facility. The main reason is due to the fact that there's nearly double the amount of Express City Connect services here compared to Hallbeath, which combine to be every 5 to 10 minutes across the bridge, like this X55, which you can see crossing over now. This is where the AB1's first journeys start and last ones end, as it's about a 7-minute bus ride up to the Dunfermline depot, also known as the St Leonard's depot, which is where these autonomous buses are based. This building behind me here is Ferrytoll Park and Ride kiosk, which houses multiple facilities such as postbox, bicycle lockers, bus timetables, and toilets.
Ferrytoll Park and Ride has a total of 1,042 parking spaces, 28 of which are disabled spaces, as well as 4 electric charging stations. There are also 4 bus stances, labelled as stances 1 through 4, as you can see on the concrete. Stance 4 is the newest of the lot, as it specifically is for the AB1.
Stance 1 sees all the local bus services, as well as the Stagecoach Express City Connect services heading 5 bound. Stance 2 is specifically for the Jet 747, which goes between Edinburgh Airport and Hallbeath Park and Ride. Stance 3 sees the Express City Connect services that have yet to go over the Forth bridges, and as Charlie has stated, Stance 4 is for the AB1.
The timetables on offer at the kiosk are the 7 timetable, which also includes the 7A, B, C and D, the 88 and 89 timetable, the 747 timetable, the Fife to Livingston guide, the Fife to Edinburgh guide, the Dunfermline Electric City Network guide, which we're currently unsure about the existence of the AB1 guide.
Not so fast, Charlie. I'm at the Park and Ride facility, so I'm going to ask an employee if they actually still stock up the AB1 leaflets. Oh yeah, sorry, I was just wondering, do you guys by any chance have leaflets for the AB1 by any chance, or do you, like, at least still make them, or has that... Result inconclusive, but looking like a no.
So future me here, I am absolutely exhausted of existing. It's 2024 now. Thank God for that, honestly. I'm just here to announce that there actually is an AB1 leaflet available at Ferrytoll, so yeah, that last clip was worthless.
If you want to read it, just pause the video. The most popular services at this facility are Stagecoach's Express City Connect services, which can link you to places like Glenrothes, St Andrews, Dundee, Edinburgh, Livingston, Dunfermline, and plenty more. There is also several local bus services, most of which go down to North Queensferry, whether it be the train station or a Battery Road turning circle. However, the most frequent bus service here is Stagecoach's very own airport service, the Jet 747, which goes between Edinburgh Airport and Holbeath Park and Ride, just about 16 minutes north.
Well, anyways, I think that's me covered everything that needs to be covered here. I think that's Charlie covered everything that needs to be covered here. I think we're all set. So, until next time, I shall see you guys around. Adios.
This is a bit different to our usual content style, so if you want to see more content like this, drop a comment below discussing why you like this sort of content and what other subjects we could cover. Also make sure to subscribe, so you never miss any of our uploads.
Also, don't forget to check out our main channel, Central Scotland Buses, if you haven't already seen it. This is only our secondary channel, so if you want uploads 6 days a week, then I'd highly recommend going over there.
The best to